Today I've got another bike I'm going to sell and thin out the collection a little bit. This time it's a KHS. The bike has some Manitou Answer Mach 5 SX forks with the AnyFlex PosiLink bonded system. It's a Taiwanese made KHS. STXRC, someone stuck a Shimano Acera set of cranks on it. Brakes are going to need tuned up. It's got a saddle and a seat post. It's about as good as you can get, missing a wee top cap here. I'm going to tidy this up, make sure that it's in reasonable condition, and then I will pass it on to someone else who's actually going to have time to ride it.
Are you passing that? Is that your bike?
Yeah, this is my bike. I'm going to sell this bike because I have possibly too many of these 90s steel bikes at the moment. I probably only need about 5.
We need to wash the bevel off.
Yeah, so we'll wash it first, Rosie, and then after we finish washing it, we'll look at all the wee jobs that need done, get it riding. I'll ride it around the garden, and it'll be good to go. Going to start off by taking off this bottle cage. These bar ends, and I guess I should stick some pedals on and fix the brakes, oil the chain, set it up, check the tyre pressures, and should be pretty good. So a little bit about this bike while I pump up the tyres. KHS started exporting bicycles in the 70s from Taiwan. In the 80s they started making small engined Yamahas there too, and I'm a little bit of a Yamaha fan, as you'll probably see in some of my other videos soon. But this bike was basically a relatively cheap, middle of the road bike in its day, and the kind of thing that a normal mountain biker would have ridden in 1996. This bike's got Fibrax front brake pads and cool stock rear brake pads. I remember wanting cool stock brake pads, and they were relatively difficult to find in the local bike shops for a wee while. Yeah, just a bit of brand snobbery, I suppose. The bike's got STXRC. It's got Shimano Tourney brakes and combined shifter. It's got the weird red lever to change one way and the thumb lever for the other direction. The actual lever blades on these are plastic. Set of alloy bars, alloy stem. Not sure what brand that is. These Manitous have got the plastic top caps. They continued on with some of these plastic top caps into their Mozo Pros, I think it was. And I remember one of my friends, Alex, when we were jumping in some jumps we'd built, getting one of these, popping out and smacking him in the cheek. Took a bit of skin off, and he was sure that somebody had thrown a rock at his head, until he looked down at his forks and realised that the whole cartridge from the inside of the fork was missing. So probably not the best idea. Anyway, this one's going to be for sale because I've had far too many bikes recently. I actually think that it would be a great bike to turn into a gravel bike or something similar, especially, I mean, it comes ready with these sort of tyres with the raised section in the middle. They're pretty much brand new tyres as well, and just set the gears up. Gears seem to work fine. Seat post's got enough adjustment on it to stick it up relatively high. I might just chuck this stem a bit further down because it looks nicer that way, and then yeah, chuck the pedals on it and take it for a ride around the garden. So a lot of people like to know how much these bikes weigh. This one weighs in at 13.4 kilograms. So not the lightest bike in the world, but I guess 1996, I think it was, 96, 94. I'll link to that somewhere in the description or in the title. Oh, in fact, I'll see if we can figure it out quickly from the frame number. The frame number is A10 U701, and then weirdly it's got some sort of mistake type thing on it where there's a 1 and a 2 over the top of each other, then a 2, 4, 9, 6. I think the 9/6 at the end is probably the year, so this should be a 1996 model. Here's the finished bike, just ridden up the garden, ride's okay. Got a little nicks on the seat, missing cap on the stem, and otherwise, well, apart from the pedals, I just nicked out my own scrap bin that I was going to throw away. Oh, and that little speedo sensor that I have to take off the front wheel, I'll take that off in a minute. Apart from that, it's actually looking pretty good, isn't it? So, 1996 KHS, Taiwanese made bike. Old set of classic Manitou forks. Some classic Maxis stickers too. Lots of made in Taiwan stickers. Definitely were proud of the fact that it was made in Taiwan, weren't they? Made in Taiwan, made in Taiwan. I saw another one somewhere else as well. Where was it? Oh, never mind. But here's the bike finished. Got mounts for a rack. A little bit of rust on the surface and the frame there as well. But yeah, this would actually make a really good gravel bike, I think, if I was keeping it and I didn't have a number of gravel bikes already, which I might not mention in this video. Just fix this little fork boot. Back round again. Yeah, I think this would make a brilliant gravel bike. Some drop bars on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 speed. So 7 speed makes it relatively easy to convert to drop bars. In fact, you can pretty much just chuck a friction shifter on anything. Get away with it if you're doing it mountain bike wise. Yeah. Here's the bike. I'm gonna sell it instead of doing it up any further. If I was keeping this bike, I think it would definitely be turning into a gravel grinder. Although I do not need another one of those.